Welcome back everyone, my name is Eltimar and we are going to be finishing up our Let's Play of Doom Eternal in the next couple of videos. We're going to be reading the Codex lore for this game. It's going to be broken down into several different parts because there's quite frankly a ton of reading to do. The first one's going to be the story of Earth, and then the story of the Sentinels in the next video. The story of Hell and the story of the Makers will be combined into one video, simply because the story of the Makers is very short. We're going to do Demons all by themselves, and then we'll do Arsenal all by themselves. So, we're going to get started on the story of Earth today. Remaining Human Populations, Part 1. Nearly 60% of the planet has been consumed by the demons, with the rate of expansion increasing each day. The majority of the world population died in the first month of the invasion, following the catastrophic failure of virtually every man-made system. Military response was immediate, but only marginally effective at providing safe retreat to civilians, with many fortified locations cut off from outside communication. Facing overwhelming opposition, these makeshift fortresses have gradually fallen to the growing demon presence one after another. Large portions of the Earth's surface have become uninhabitable, with swarms of demons scouting the globe, and most regions suffering from an atmosphere that has become infected and poisonous by process of some form of alien terraformation. Remaining Human Populations, Part 2. Vega data entry. Although several 100,000 more were safely evacuated out of orbit in the mass exodus following the invasion, the expected odds of survival is considered unlikely for many of these lifeboats, carrying cryogenically frozen passengers. Religious iconography and communes are now commonplace amongst survivors, with a collective perception of events taking on a biblical nature. Many seek authority from a higher power to rationalize the sudden destruction of their world, believing these events represent a form of divine punishment. The formation of the Ark, Vega data entry. Following the total collapse of international civilization, nations and boundaries as we know them have ceased to exist. A handful of remaining bureaucrats, government officials, and military leaders have managed to survive by use of protective bunkers kept secret to the greater population. Convening under the flag of the Allied Nations, this governing body represents all that remains of the rule of law, forming what would essentially become a single world government. Military bases in communication with the AN have made efforts to regroup and centralize their areas of command, establishing fortified safe havens for survivors, stockpiling food, and scavenging for supplies. Only proprietary military use communications remain functional, enabling military entities under command of the Allied Nations to coordinate in humanitarian aid and defense operations. By 2151, the formation of the Ark has taken highest priority and is considered to be, in all practical terms, the last hope for humanity. Cultist Base, Vega data entry. Led by the elusive hell priest Dag Renak, the cultists operate from a remote facility located in the Arctic tundra. As overseer, Renak exerts absolute control over the facility and its legion of possessed acolytes. Instrumental in sowing the seeds of the cultist uprising, Renak worked briefly with Olivia Pierce at the Mars facility before departing to Earth with orders to prepare the groundwork for the imminent Hell invasion. A recently declassified UAC biography for Renak indicates that he is a surviving member of the original Order of the Dag, the ancient Argenta clerics. He now serves the forces of Hell and is rumored to have personal knowledge of the Doomslayer, suggesting a shared history between the two. Wielding total power over the cultists under his supervision, he uses his growing influence to advance the consumption and corruption of Earth. Built over the ruins of an ancient Argenta settlement, the cultist facility has been designated as both a Gothic monument to the ancient architecture and a state-of-the-art science facility. Tablets and memory banks found at the settlement indicate that the Order of the Dag discovered Earth millennia ago, and found it to be populated with powerful, primeval beasts. They named these creatures Agadons due to their similarity to the mythic Cyclopean giant from Argentina's past, the Agadian. Doom Hunter Base, Vega data entry. The UAC's polar cultist facility is built around the ruins of an ancient Argenta settlement constructed over 60 million years ago, during Argentina's extraterrestrial expansion. Frozen carcasses of the Agadon hunters have been located in the glacial wastes surrounding the complex, and though their DNA structure reveals them to be indigenous to Earth, there is no fossilized record of these creatures beyond the frozen territories of the Argenta settlement. Carbon dating of the remarkably well-preserved beasts suggests that they are nearly 80 million years old, predating all other known forms of complex Earth-based life. Continuing the cyber-demonic experimentation that began on Mars, the cultists study the Agadon's potential for resurrection and cyber augmentation. A similar program occurred at this location millennia ago when Dag priests, often cited as Hell priests, bred the creatures and genetically modified them to function as Doom Hunters, fearsome mutants designed to battle the Doomslayer and his Night Sentinels during the unholy crusades on Argent D'Nur. Sentinel records corroborate this through their military texts, with many reports of these creatures among the ranks of the demonic forces assaulting the armies of the North during the Argentis Civil War. Once the UAC cultist movement publicly announced its intentions for Earth, the cyber-demonic program was revealed to be focused on updating the Doom Hunter schematics, upgrading their combat prowess. A new assembly center was constructed near the cultist facility, and a powerful grav tram allocated UAC workers to safely transport the biological and mechanical components needed for the process. The resurrection of an Agadon hunter requires cutting-edge technology to be used in conjunction with occult rituals conducted by UAC's necrosurgeons, an unholy fusion of science and sorcery. The Hellgrowth, Part 1. Vega Data Entry. The Hellgrowth formations on Earth have undergone great scrutiny by experts at the Allied nations. These cancer-like growths exhibit alarming cellular reproduction rates, outpacing any biological life form previously known. Their structural pattern is chaotic, almost random, with only one identifiable constant: the emergence of totem-like nests which at full maturity resonate with powerful electromagnetic frequencies capable of producing a form of inverse quantum field. These fields, once activated, result in the fabrication of hell portals, pairs in space-time which serve as gateways between dimensions. The Hellgrowth, Part 2. Vega Data Entry. The growth exhibits certain predetermined qualities. In the consumption of our ecosystem, it creates environmental conditions more conducive for its own continued formation, in effect employing an organic method of terraformation. The resulting environment is hostile to terrestrial life, producing atmospheric toxins and a multitude of environmental hazards. Although it is understood that the growth accelerates the arrival of demon life on Earth, it is not clear how the growths themselves originated or whether there was some sort of catalyst that created the conditions necessary for their existence. It is believed that if the source of the growths can be identified, there may be a means of uprooting the entire formation. Super Gore Nest, Vega Data Entry, Report File ARC-AAR C037, ComSec Red, Analyst T Washington 043. Report starts. Operation Lock AAR follows. Following reports of UAC cultist presence at the Lock Reactor, ARC-AAR A291, recon teams Infil Gamma and Infil Hector attempted to gain entry to lock and assess the situation. Their final transmission indicated a massive demonic presence entering the reactor facility through continuum gates, sick hell portals. An emergency global council meeting approved an immediate Ark response to the situation at the Lock Reactor. The assembled coalition strike force included 4 U.S. battlemech divisions, the C-0N Yor long-range naval artillery barrage fleet, 27 U.S. Nightbird Apaches, 3 NATO shock troop battalions, 2 Kyrieru rapid response levy tank divisions, and 18,000 coalition special forces units. The initial bombardment from the LRNAB was met with immediate response from invasion forces. An estimated 8,000 DP-013G units, sick gargoyles, attacked the fleet, sinking 32 vessels and disabling a further 78% of the fleet. The remaining ships retreated to a position approximately 32 miles off the shore, beyond the reach of the gargoyles, but also out of artillery range. With the fleet out of action, the battle mechs and Apaches initiated a danger-close salvo against the reactor, as shock troops and special forces attempted a rearward infiltration. Several platoons made it inside the reactor, where the demons had already established a DP-136 nest, sick Super Gore Nest. Although Gore Nests have been reported at various invasion sites, this was the largest so far observed. The nest has been built around the reactor core itself. Several thousand IFF beacons are amassed at the nest location, suggesting the demons are using our fallen forces as part of their bio-organic continuum gate. At the time of writing, the DP-136 nest is considered to be ground zero of the invading force. Unless the continuum gate is destroyed, this analyst sees no way to stem the influx of aggressors. Recommended response: DNA, total nuclear annihilation. Report ends. The Return of Dr. Samuel Hayden, Part 1, Vega Data Entry. The destruction of the Argent Wellspring on Mars meant chaos for planet Earth. Following the loss of communication between Earth and Mars-based facilities, the collapse of the Argent-dependent energy grid consumed the planet in crisis. It was during this time that UAC Director Dr. Samuel Hayden suddenly resurfaced on Earth before the AN Council, wielding that which might offer salvation to mankind, the Crucible. After recounting the events that had transpired on the Red Planet, Hayden agreed to cooperate with the AN, providing access to the various UAC facilities on Earth, and by extension the full range of technologies at his disposal. Paramount among these was the Crucible, the last remaining source of Argent energy in existence. The Return of Dr. Samuel Hayden, Part 2, Vega Data Entry. Believing it possible to solve the energy crisis which now devastated the planet, Dr. Hayden sought to invent a method of Argent synthesis, a synthetic replication that could recreate the high-yield capability of Argent energy. With the destruction of the Argent energy across the solar system, all that remained of Argent existed now within the Crucible, the fabled Hell artifact, which Dr. Hayden had acquired on Mars. Knowing full well the Crucible's hidden power, Samuel devised a method to utilize the artifact as an Argent conductor, a process that would in time produce the miracle of synthetic man-made Argent energy, restoring the production of Argent energy to Earth. Hayden became a mythical figure among Earth's survivors, in no small part due to his abnormal physical condition. Having returned to Earth when most sought a means of escape, bringing with him the Crucible that would grant the people a second chance at survival, for the common person, he had become the stuff of legends. The Ark Part 1, Vega Data Entry. A global military crisis relief initiative established by the Allied Nations in 2151, the Armored Response Coalition is designed with the sole purpose to combat and contain the Hell invasion, succeed where modern militaries are ineffective, utilizing cutting-edge Argent-powered technology. Hayden, overseeing all aspects of Ark weapon and tech development, set about repurposing the UAC facilities on Earth, many of which were unaffected by the invasion due to their remote locations and high levels of automated security. These facilities, operated by powerful AI, are already designed for weapon development and mass production, meaning they could be repurposed overnight. The Ark Part 2, Vega Data Entry. By 2151, the Ark began running operations from the Mobile Command Carrier, a seaborne command center designed for long-range strike operations which would serve as Ark HQ. Their primary objective, to locate the source of the Hell growth infestation, and in doing so, shutting down the emergence of Hell portals and closing the gate between dimensions. At the heart of the Armored Response Coalition is an aggressive research and development program in pursuit of new military technologies. As part of Dr. Hayden's commitment, UAC resources under his direction, including some of the most powerful AI ever created, have been deployed in the service of weapon development designed to face the Hell threat head-on. Samuel Hayden. Vega Data Entry. In 2150, following the loss of communications between Earth and Mars-based facilities, UAC Director Samuel Hayden suddenly resurfaced on Earth for the AN Council. The demonic invasion of Earth had already begun, and Dr. Hayden had arrived just in time to provide aid. He supplied the Resistance armies with Argent technology and advanced armaments, taking the helm of the newly formed ARC as lead director. Dr. Hayden's tactical and scientific acumen were invaluable to the war effort, and he was soon given full command over all Resistance efforts by the Global Council. Ark engaged the demons with bleeding-edge tech, exosuits, and heavy-frame battle mechs, but found themselves fighting a losing battle. Operation Hellbreaker was Samuel's final plan, a powerful counterattack that ultimately ended in failure. His robotic torso, retrieved by Ark soldiers, Samuel is now tended to and monitored by a skeleton crew of scientists. They had been given contingency orders to safeguard his body along with the Crucible obtained on Mars. The BFG 10,000, Vega Data Entry. Originally established as a mining and communication relay, the UAC outpost on Phobos began immediate expansion following the destruction of the Argent facility on Mars. The UAC Board of Directors, intent on retaining their monopoly of the Red Planet and its surrounding airspace, issued the construction of an expansive defense platform. Using technology derived from the BFG 9000, the design plan called for a massive particle cannon to be built on the orbiting moon. The BFG 10,000, the largest man-made weapon platform ever conceived, wields enough firepower to defend against even the most sophisticated of capital-grade FTL cruisers in existence, or against the eventual potentiality of space-bound demonic threat. Final Sin, Vega data entry. The icon's presence warps reality, damaging the implicit order of our dimension merely by existing within it. If the icon is allowed to remain unchecked, it would lead to the total devastation of Earth, followed by a breakdown of space-time around the planet. The resultant black hole will eventually drag our entire universe down, casting it into the mouth of hell as conquest to be absorbed by the Dark Realm. The Con Maker had taken measures to augment the Titan, installing Maker technology throughout its structure to ensure it could be controlled. With the ritual interrupted, the icon is now fully unleashed, raging across Earth until hell consumes all. No longer bound by the heart of the betrayer's son, the icon of sin is free from any measure of control that the Makers might have once conceived. Only the Slayer, prophesied in Argenta legend to stand against the icon, can stop this apocalypse. Ark Broadcast Log 1. There are reports coming out of the quarantined hellified zone near the San Andreas Chasm. Satellite imagery shows what Ark personnel believe to be the legendary Doomslayer himself fighting the mortally challenged. The Doomslayer, or Doom Guy as he is sometimes referred to, was thought to be a myth of the Resistance, a sort of avenging angel. He was last reported to be seen on Mars and is allegedly responsible for the destruction of the Argent Tower there. He disappeared soon afterwards. The UAC continues to deny all reports of his existence. We will continue to broadcast new information as we receive it. Ark Broadcast Log 2. This is an Ark broadcast. To any Ark personnel or survivors operating inside the hellified zones, please be advised, more Doomslayer sightings have been coming in. Ark leadership do not recommend any attempts to communicate with the Slayer directly. Please avoid all contact with Doom Guy at this time. While it is clear that the Slayer is an enemy of the challenged, it's unclear if he could also be a threat to civilians. Ark Broadcast Log 3. This is the Resistance Network. In an unbelievable turn of events, the Super Gore Nest has been destroyed. Reports from the Ark personnel in the field say that they have seen a significant decrease in demonic activity across the globe. Many believe this is proof the Doomslayer himself has in fact joined the resistance effort and has successfully eliminated key figures within the ranks of the challenged. Operatives working inside the UAC cultist organization claim that the leader of the division, Priest Dagrenak, was in fact removed from his office recently by the Slayer himself. As key leadership within the mortally challenged continue to fall, we are seeing a decreased threat from the demons on all fronts. This has given the Resistance a key advantage in the war for Earth. The UAC continues to deny any knowledge of his existence. As surviving members of the Ark network, it is the belief of this station that these reports are in fact true. We believe the Slayer has joined us in the battle against the demons. Anyone still listening to this broadcast know that there is hope, and he is out there. Ark Broadcast Log 4. This is an Ark broadcast. Ark personnel have reported that the Slayer has made his way to Dr. Hayden's tower and has retrieved his remains. We do not know why. Unnamed sources inside the organization claim that Dr. Hayden anticipated the Slayer's arrival. We can only hope that this is true and that the Resistance can continue. Ark Broadcast Log 5. This is the Resistance Network broadcasting live from inside the Arctic Safe Zone. There was a Slayer sighting on Phobos. Eyewitnesses reports say that he was spotted inside a command center and then proceeded to fight his way through the mortally challenged and onto the deck of the BFG-10K. This can't be confirmed, but many believe it was the Slayer himself who destroyed Mars in an attempt to stop the challenge from further advancing their position on Earth. We will post more information as it comes in. This is an Ark broadcast. Ark Broadcast Log 6. Attention, this is an emergency broadcast from the Ark Resistance. Numerous reports from survivor cells across the globe are confirming that at some time within the last 24 hours, the demonic invaders have begun amassing in swarms near the Gore nests. Ark scientists have theorized that this behavior is indicative of the arrival of a super predator, a world eater. Ark personnel advise all survivors to remain in the safe zones. Dr. Elena Richardson Log 1. This is Dr. Elena Richardson Log Entry 002, Subject Analysis of Doomslayer. January 24th, 2163. There is no chance that the subject is a demon. We have blood samples pulled from the Mars base event that show his blood type is AB positive. He is male with a genome that makes him very much a member of the human race, but the enhanced strength, speed, and athleticism would indicate otherwise. We can see from the blood samples that there are foreign bodies present of unknown origin. I cannot, as a contributing member of the scientific community, agree with the assumption by some of my colleagues that he is, for lack of a better word, a god, an avenging angel, the right hand of doom here to save humanity from its sins, But we cannot ignore that the timing of his arrival, the identity of his enemies, the fire and brimstone element to this catastrophe we currently find ourselves in it has definitely shaken my scientific resolve. Dr. Elena Richardson Log 2. This is Dr. Elena Richardson, log entry 005. Subject analysis of Doomslayer. February 2nd, 2163. Maybe he is a god. Maybe he represents humankind's rage, their will to persevere, to overcome that which would threaten our survival. He is uncompromising, a relentless being of violence that knows no mention of the hesitation shown by our many leaders and politicians during our time of judgment. Can he overcome them alone? If he can't, we as a species, all species, will not survive. Dr. Elena Richardson Log 3. This is Dr. Elena Richardson Log entry 006, February 9th, 2163. The only thing they fear is him. We watched as the Horde overwhelmed the very best and most advanced machinery and weapons technology that we could muster against the opposition. It was useless. They moved too quickly, they cared not for themselves, only sought out the blood of humanity. They were willing to sacrifice their own to get to the heart of our world. We slaughtered thousands and millions more followed. But then he came, and he cut through them like a sickle through a field, his fury surpassing their own. He is faster, more relentless. I believe him now to be more than just a man. He is doom. Dr. Elena Richardson Log 4. This is Dr. Elena Richardson Log entry 007, March 3rd, 2163. And with him lies our salvation, for as he gains in strength, so do they fall in numbers. The priests command the armies to the north and south, but he controls the fight. The inner circle of death is where he resides, hunting them at the far reaches of the earth and beyond. I am a believer now. I feel it is in doom that I have faith. The Slayer is the spear that stabs at the heart of our attackers, and those that would seek to harm us should feel warned. For there is only one dominant life form in this universe, and it carries a steel-barreled sword of vengeance. All hail the coming of the Destroyer. The Slayer's time is now.